Welcome to the work and celebrations of the Brecon Beacons Trust, an example of which you've just seen, the Dark Skies Reserve. I've been privileged to be the chair of the Brecon Beacons Trust since 2009, when we were first established, thanks to a generous endowment of £1 million from National Grid plc. The fund has been a means of providing income and support to a huge range of projects across the park, large, small, in the east and in the west, and all of them have had one thing in common. They've been attempts to encourage local communities, volunteer groups and anybody that has an interest in the park to make the most of this fund for the benefit of the wildlife, for the scenery, for the nature conservation, for the history and heritage of the area, for the community projects that obviously are much needed in rural areas. 66 schemes that we've funded are a remarkable catalogue of energy, enthusiasm and, in some instances, sheer determination. And I can only but congratulate everybody that's been involved in the success of their projects and really contributed to the overall success of my trust. Since the trust established, our horizons have widened. We've grown, we've matured, and we've developed ways of working with the communities which we hope have benefited everybody. In the next few minutes, I hope that the schemes that you'll be able to see will demonstrate the success of the Trust. We feel that we've done a good job, and I hope you agree. One of the great joys of the Trust work has been the huge variety of projects that we've been able to support and fund. And one example is exactly what I'm sitting on. A grant that we gave to a local stone walling organisation to promote the training of dry stone walling.
We received a significant amount of funding from the Brecon Beacons Trust towards our Dark Skies project. It was a really ambitious project, and we really couldn't have done it without the funding that was generated. It was a real catalyst for the project. It got all the project partners together and really provide the impetus for us to move towards the next stage and give us confidence in actually achieving the award. And we've seen an increase in numbers from people all over the country, and it's been received in the press, like New York Times, Australian journalists come over to cover it. So it really does have something special and unique, which adds to our destination brand.
Yes, Dark Skies was one of our biggest projects. Another big one we were involved with was the Gunpowder Works, which is a project in the southeast of the park to restore a very interesting historical artefact, which is unique to this part of Wales. And we're involved in one part of what's a £1 million scheme, and our bit is to help restore the ancient woodland where Gunpowder Works are found.
Probably one of the biggest and hopefully the most successful projects that we will have funded will be the Hay Castle project. A project worth over £150,000, which funded the feasibility of understanding the antiquities and the layout of the castle itself, even before any of the work started. One of the most imaginative and certainly most physically demanding was the wood and lime project that took place in the Black Mountains. Upland erosion was taking place, and a group of people physically carried bales of wool up to the uplands, stitched them together so that would stop the erosion and enable the heatherlands to regenerate. Here on the outskirts of Brecon, right alongside the canal, is one of the other projects that we've funded, the restoration of what were completely dilapidated lime kilns. The funding, along with Heritage Lottery funding, enabled these lime kilns to be restored, and all the work was done by supervised volunteers who came here without skills and came away with a huge number of additional skills. It's absolutely great to be back here on such a sunny day. Exactly the same sort of weather we had when we launched the Trust here in this very place in 2009. What a transformation in 9 years.
Yeah, this really is an amazing space, and these children are so lucky to have this just a couple of steps out of their classroom. And it's been wonderful over the years since the start of the project to see generation after generation of children being able to come out here to look, pond dip, to search for bugs, and just generally to enjoy nature. It's really wonderful.
This is absolutely an outdoor school, whatever the weather, and we have extensive grounds where we do lots of outdoor pursuits. We do pond dipping and bug hunting, So the children are very interested. The PTA support us in everything that we do. It's absolutely vital for any funds that we can have because it buys us essential equipment like nets and charts for identifying things.
I like about pond dipping because there's lots of animals in the pond that you don't know about. And then when you get them out, you, like Miss Wood says about them, and you learn more. Well, I think it's better than having a classroom indoors, except for when it rains.
Well, the village has benefited greatly from the money that we received from the Brecon Beacons Trust. We've used that money to kind of initiate the whole nature area that you see behind you. And that was a catalyst to all the work that we've done in the playground, including purchasing the equipment. And it's not just the equipment and the play area and that sort of thing, but it brings the community together. It's one of the things that we like to work on.
It's really nice here since we got the equipment because it just adds that little extra bit to play on.
So if you're not in gymnastics, I can come here and practice here. It's such a big space, so I can do everything here.
And I also like the baby swing because my cousin comes over and then we shove her in the baby swing and it's so funny.
The Brecon Beacons National Park Authority and the people who live here have benefited greatly from working alongside the Brecon Beacons Trust. The Trust has match funded a number of our Sustainable Development Fund projects. Now, it hasn't always been a huge amount of money, maybe a few £100 or a couple of £1,000, but for every pound that's spent on an SDF fund project, that actually brings on average another £8 into that community. So it's been a great catalyst. I think it's broken down some barriers for us really, like opening up our green spaces to people who've got mental health issues. We've had a scheme that's opened up our canal network to people with disabilities, and there's been a great scheme as well to restore some of our hedgerows, and that's even been rolled out right across Wales.
The success of the Trust, and I think the legacy that we leave, is really down to three simple things that we were able to do. First, we had a funding model which was easy to understand. We gave the money up front and people knew and were assured of what they were doing. The second was that we had a flexible approach and we adapted, we learned, we grew, we changed, and we did things differently as we went along. And then the third thing, which I must mention, is the fantastic set of trustees that we had who helped administer the fund, and the work of the Secretary, Alan Underwood, who was really instrumental in making the engine tick smoothly. My final thought is really that if ever we have the chance of repeating this sort of funding again, that we'll be able to do so with the same enthusiasm and determination that we have this time. And all I can really say as a result of the hard work that we've all put in is thank you to everybody who has contributed not just to the success of the Trust, but to the success of the projects that you were involved with, and for making the Brecon Beacons a much better place for everyone in the future.